we're now a $3 trillion asset. You need more institutions in to drive the asset higher anyway. People forget that. Like the institutions here, it's amazing. Well, it has to be if you want 100% rise. You need larger pools of capital now because it's a much bigger market. So, look, overall, the trends are all right. And we haven't even got the bloody administration in yet. We haven't got the clarity that we're all waiting for.
Raul Paul, absolutely correct. If we want to see this asset class grow from 3 trillion to 10 trillion and higher, we need more capital flowing in. So many people miss this point where they say we shouldn't want ETFs because that goes against the ethos of crypto. That would be correct if the crypto enthusiasts en masse said, you know what? I don't need a hardware wallet. I don't need self-custody. I'm going to toss this and replace it with some sort of brokerage account. That ain't what's happening here. This allows a new investor, a very large investor, to now have cash flows, inflows into this asset class. And we, the crypto enthusiasts, can leverage that all the same and do even more and have even more freedom. It's like a Trojan horse that we're running in here that they can't stop, that they must adopt, even if it costs them power long term. It's absolutely necessary to make this asset class, accessible to very large investors, to new investors. And again, that will not stop us from using crypto as the intended tool and utility it was designed for. It actually will enhance it. It is so important to recognize that. Now, big announcement from First Ledger. And I know a lot of people are out there, they're like, it's all about the utility of the XRP ledger. Meme coins are nonsense. Look what happened because we've had a successful application on the XRP ledger. First Ledger is proud to announce that our peering and relay hub is up and running. This is very important infrastructure. We had one longtime hub shut down here recently, and thank goodness XRP Kuwait stepped up. I think they might be running 2 hubs now, but as this network scales and you get more transactions, we need more of this critical infrastructure. And you look at what the cost is here for this. You ain't going to spool this up in your parents' basement. The cost for 2 years to run this hub is $48,000. First Ledger has had the success, they've had the cash flow, and now they are investing into their business to make sure they have this critical infrastructure, they have control over it, they have the performance, and so they're willing to pay that money. And so when you see more people like First Ledger have success with their application, it's going to make the entire XRP ledger that much more resilient and scalable. And this is big. And I have a feeling First Ledger is just the start. We're starting to get that feature set, that critical utility that different applications will need. And this is why people say, oh, well, it doesn't matter about the builders or it doesn't matter about the dApps. Oh, yes, it does. And everyone from Ripple on down is going to be able to leverage this capability that comes with a successful application. This is just the beginning here. Ripple and MoonPay stepping up, making a big donation. Ripple Labs and MoonPay have donated 50,000 RLUSD stablecoin to the LA Fire Department Foundation. Critical aid supports firefighters battling blazes in the areas like Pacific Palisades, Pasadena, and Ripple's hinted more support to come. This is a good cause. They get to showcase RLUSD, zip that money in there quickly. This is great, and I think they're going to do more as we go forward here. Digital asset investor. He reposted this video that the XRP guy put up, and he made the comment XRP was never meant for retail, of which digital asset investor said apparently this guy didn't get the memo. The XRP Gestapo doesn't allow this conversation. This is what I would like to say and what I responded to DAI. I said, you know what? It's a fake narrative that some people push. I'm not saying DAI is pushing this, but we see this time and time again. XRP is not meant for the regular person. It's not meant for retail. It's not meant for consumers, and it couldn't be farther from the truth. And correcting that record doesn't make someone a Gestapo. And why would you want it to be just for institutions or just for the banks? Like the banks plus everything else, that's more. The banks can still use it, but so can regular people and people like First Ledger. Like everything and everyone is all of the money, not just all the money within banks and institutions. It's nonsensical. XRP Ledger is open source. It was meant to be a better Bitcoin, not meant to be a banker coin. And this is great because, again, it's all of the money, all of the flows. And Ripple, the company, is a different story. It's separate from XRP, but Ripple, the company, was originally a consumer company, and they pivoted to banks. You can go to my post here on DAI. You can listen to Bob Way, employee number 3, with Ripple, and he says, look, we were a consumer company. And I had this discussion with someone and said, do you think banks would be interested? And then the pivot went from there. And it has a lot to do with FinCEN knocking in their doors, giving a lot of trouble. Institutional work is much safer than consumers. So we went from there. And it's good because you have now Ripple, this main player in this institutional space, but it does not mean that XRP was designed or meant to be just institutional. It's meant for anyone that wants to leverage this open source network for anything they might want to do with it. And to say otherwise is not to understand what open source and free blockchain is for and what its purpose is. It's just wrong to push this narrative that XRP wasn't meant for retail. It absolutely was. And especially in the beginning, it was solely retail. And then we pivoted from there. It's just kind of common sense here. Crypto ETF. The next wave is here. This is going to be big. And again, it rolls back to our point. If we want growth, XRP Ledger has a high market cap. It actually is more valuable than people understand currently. We need more money flowing in. And it's gonna, with clarity, a lot of big investors will now invest directly, and also an ETF is coming. And it's gonna allow a new class of investor to invest in XRP. Last year, Bitcoin ETFs smashed expectations. You saw the effect that had, attracting $65 billion and propelling Bitcoin over $100,000. With the crypto-friendly administration incoming, there's 16 new ETFs pending right now in the pipeline for coins like XRP, coins like Scalana, basket products. This is going to be big for this space. And there's more to come, best believe that. What's going to be first? Is it Scalana? Is it XRP? Who cares? They're all your major cryptos. They're going to get across the finish line, and it's going to be a game changer for this whole asset class. Raw Paul, I'm telling you, I've been saying this, and you are going to see the pivot. Not just from Paul, but a lot of people within Sol. He says, I love Solana, and I own a lot, but Sui Sol chart is something else. You are going to see people, as Solana goes up in value, try to roll back for extra gains, and they're going to roll a lot of that Solana money into Sui. Just watch it play out. He's alluding to it. He's going to definitely do it 100%, and so are a lot of your Solana investors. As that valuation starts topping out and they don't think there's much more to squeeze out of it, a lot of it's going to roll right back into Sui. It's going to be massive. We see breaking Sui flips Solana in 24-hour spot trading volume on Coinbase. This is going to be a gainer. This is going to be a big one, this crypto cycle. Justin Sun saying AI could overrun crypto in 2025, predicting AI agents could replace venture capitalists and investors when driving the next bull cycle. However, he's cautious of catastrophic risk in AI agents if they're hacked, likening it to the past speculative bubbles for ICOs, NFTs, and it's almost assuredly going to be exactly that. We're going to see this massive excitement around blockchain and AI, and it's just a little ahead of time. Like DeFi is maturing, and now you're seeing institutional DeFi, and NFTs are kind of thinking of real applications beyond, poop emojis. Those are maturing, but AI agents are very early. Now, I do see people classifying AI agents as simply chatbots. And in some ways, they're right. But what's going on here? It's more than just that. These AI agents, what are they doing? They're manipulating human behavior. It's a little beyond just a stupid chatbot that's just putting random stuff out. You are seeing AI agents, while they might not be directly trading and doing some of these advanced things they will in the future, what they're doing on X, they are literally manipulating market behavior. And that's more profound and maybe scary than I think what people see at first glance. That's what you're seeing happening with AI agents. They're not just chatbots. It'll be interesting to see develop here as we go through the year. Altcoin Daily, Bank of America says we no longer expect more rate cuts. No one wants to hear that. We have to see the year play out. I doubt there'll be no rate cuts in 2025. I doubt there'll only be one. If that happens, that means things held up and we probably cruise to a great time. But I bet around mid-year we'll have some disruption and they'll have to start bringing that rate down. There's just too much debt out there for the government, for business, and for individual households. There's just tons of debt out there, and it's just a forest fire, a wildfire waiting to erupt. they'll have to act sooner than later, in my opinion. If not, heck, the year went pretty good. Something to look for. Axelar saying in the future, 1 in 4 transactions will be cross-chain. Absolutely, I believe that to be the case. And beyond that, it's not going to be like now where you have to figure out all these paths and what application you're going to use. They're going to abstract all of that away. All the complications are just going to dissolve into the psychosphere, and you're just going to use an app to do the utility you want. And on the back end, it's going to figure out if it's leveraging Bitcoin, the XRP ledger, Ethereum. It's just going to happen seamlessly. You won't even know what's happening. That's what's really exciting about people like Axelar, paving the way for that to be a reality in the future. Lastly, Zuckerberg, with Meta, you have the shareholders requesting that the company conduct an assessment to determine if adding Bitcoin to the company's treasury is in the best interest of the shareholders. Currently, Meta has $72 billion in cash that is constantly being debased, according to shareholder Ethan Peck. There will be a shift when we see this happen. They're not going to move all of their cash into crypto, but as this asset class matures, it's going to be a no-brainer. They're going to take some of their reserves and probably put it in a basket of global crypto assets. These are not as problematic in terms of regional areas or countries where you have war, you have economic crashes. It just craters that specific fiat currency. These are global in nature, and it only makes sense. So you're going to see a mad dash at some point in time where all these companies like Meta, with tons of cash reserves, they're going to take a portion of it and put it into a basket of cryptocurrencies. It just mathematically makes sense to protect shareholder wealth. Let me know what you think down below. As always, please like, please subscribe. The revolution will be televised right here on Jungle Link.